Hey, what is going on, guys? Hex coming back in today with a brand new video, and as always, down in the title below will be the topic we're talking about today, and we're going to be talking about light novels and them becoming anime adaptations. So what we're diving into right away is the biggest issue with light novels becoming anime adaptations is simply the dialogue, because dialogue and light novels is so long per page, right? You look at a manga and compare it to just a single light novel volume, and just you can only imagine how much dialogue, the big difference between the dialogue and how much dialogue is in both of them. Now, the biggest thing about cutting with light novels is the simple fact that there's so much context that you could cut out, whether it's small things that add up to be big things, whether you have to cut out a big thing in order to fit in another big thing. There's just so many things you can and or cannot cut that damages the context of the story in and of itself, whether that be the characters or whether that be the setting where it takes place. It, like, Sword Art Online is a perfect example of that. I mean, the time skips, we went from level 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 60, and I think, like, what was it, 60 to 70 after that? We didn't even get to reach level 100, given I don't think it reaches that in the light novel anyways. But you see the big issue with that. I mean, there's a lot of context we could have gotten on the world. That's why I do recommend a show or a manga, I should say, or a light novel. It's not a show yet, but SEO Progressive, because it fills in a lot of those holes, and there's so many things to understand about the world of SEO already, such as if you lose your weapon, like it falls off a cliff or into a river, you can actually have it like teleported back to you. I didn't know that before, and that's because they had to cut some things out in order to fit it into that 25 episode span, and that's the biggest thing too. In the sense that if you want to fit something into a 25 episode span or a 12 episode span, you're limited and you're forced to make those cuts, because it's not just like a studio can say, hey, let's just leave this in here and not cut it. They have to, and at the same time, you don't want a show to drag. And this next season of SAO, it kind of shows that, right? And the next big thing is characterization and development. So characterization and development can be really rushed, and or it can be forced if you cut certain things out, because being rushed and or being forced is basically the same kind of thing. It's really the same thing. Like, they both derive from the same issue, and that is cutting, where you don't want to cut, but you had to cut, and or, well, you cut and you shouldn't have. I mean, you gotta put in perspective, all that dialogue you have to go through. It's hard to pick and choose when you have hundreds upon thousands of words and or scenes and or context in a book, and picking what's good and what's not good, especially when you have to read ahead in order to make sure it fits into the next volume and the volume after that. There's so many different things you really have to pay attention to in terms of cutting. Like, now I hope you guys actually understand, like, it's so hard to do, and at the same time, you got to remember the studios have time limits. They have, budgets, so they can't just drag it all the way along. Like SEO Season 3, it's supposed to have a lot of dialogue, but, a lot of time with cutting, though, it depends how the writer writes. Is his writing compact and as in there's always context being given out? That's hard. That's really hard to adapt, and that's why you usually need, like, a Season 2 for these. And I mean, light novels in general are usually more than 2 seasons long, let's be honest. I mean, they're usually, you could probably at least get like 6 seasons out of them. I mean, compared to a manga, a lot of mangas aren't really long running per se. I mean, Boku no Hero is one that is going to be. I mean, let's see, who else? Dragon Ball Z is one. You have Bleach, you had One Piece, Naruto. Those shows were long running, so you didn't have to make it compact. At the same time, sometimes light novels are actually done better because of people. But at the same time, I just want to let you guys know my thoughts of why light novels don't always make good animes. And it's really the dialogue. There's so much of it, and there's so much you have to take. Like, there's even an interview on the Anime Man's channel with the not Konosuba, but the Spice Wolf author. He's like, just adding in the details that they did was impressive, and that was his dialogue was good. Like, everyone knows, Spice Wolf has great dialogue. It's a show that's mainly made of dialogue. But can you keep a reader interested, or can you not keep a reader interested? I mean, it all comes down to the author too, when it really comes down to it. I think, if you can make the studio, A1 Pictures, White Fox always does a good job. If you make their lives easier, then it's going to make the anime for, to be that much better. But writing does start with the author at the end of the day. But as always, guys, you guys have been Hex. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me to X25. See you guys next time. Peace.